Alright, legends, welcome along to Hellmouth Hotline. I'm your host, Rodney Stewart, and we're getting into Buffy the Vampire Slayer one more time with something blue. It is episode 9 of season 4, and one of those comic kind of episodes. And doesn't take itself too seriously at all most of the time. And right enough, there was a moment near the end of it where I laughed pretty hard because there's a certain character in this episode that's built up as being one of the big bads that should never be messed with whatsoever. But when it does happen and the way it resolves itself, I found to be pretty hilarious. So in this episode, Riley, he invites Buffy out for a picnic, and Willow and Buffy, they're discussing the consequences of a possible relationship with Riley, who seems safe and unlikely to hurt Buffy. And Buffy wonders if true passion requires pain and fighting, and after everything that she went through with Angel. So later on in the episode, Buffy, she's interrogating Spike, who's chained up in Giles' bathtub, and of course he's got this chip in his head. He can't harm anybody without extreme pain to himself, but they're taking no chances at all with him. They're keeping him chained up, but he's not giving away too much information to her. Just been a tit as usual. So Willow, she suggests a truth spell to make Spike talk and get the information they need. Going to Oz's place, Willow finds it emptied and realises that he has had his possessions forwarded to him without getting in touch with her. So she's crushed her last hopes of his return. That night at the Bronze, she opts to drown her sorrows in alcohol. It's totally wasted. Later on in the dorm room bathroom, Willow performs a spell to let her be She performs a spell to let her will be granted in order to make her pain go away. I can't read my own writing. Let's just make that clear right now. I fall over my words quite a bit at the best of times. But on these episodes, where I've got a few notes to go through, I should have been a doctor because my handwriting is shocking at the moment. Anyway, Willow performs a spell to let her will be granted in order to make her pain go away. However, her commands don't seem to work. When Giles drops by and asks why she did not show up to help him perform the truth spell as was scheduled, she admits feeling pressure to live up to the high standards. So soon after her breakup with Oz, angrily, she says that he cannot see anything. She's just like, you don't see what's going on here, sort of thing. Giles then is kind of dazed and he leaves. He tries to perform the spell on Spike alone, but has difficulty reading. After Giles accidentally drops the keys to the chains that are keeping Spike captive, Spike's able to escape. Giles calls Buffy to go find Spike. Once she catches up, after Willow makes a sarcastic comment, of course, she brings him back to Giles' apartment. My notes aren't even making much sense here. Anyway, anything Willow says in this episode after she casts that initial spell starts to come true, backfires, and she's having that argument with Giles. You can't see what's going on here, so he becomes blind on it. While talking to Xander, Willow flippantly suggests that Buffy and Spike should get married, so of course they fall in love, and throughout the episode they're touchy-feely and whatnot, and they're planning on getting married, all this sort of gear. Meanwhile, Giles' place, Spike proposes to Buffy. She accepts, of course. Xander continues to try to console Willow, but in an act of misdirected rage and grief, she calls him a demon magnet, because everywhere he goes he seems to be getting in trouble. So throughout the rest of the episode, all the demons in Sunnydale are attracted to his location. While Buffy and Spike cuddle and kiss and make plans for the wedding, Giles calls Willow for help, confessing that he is totally blind at this point. And Buffy runs into Riley outside of the bridal shop and happily tells him about the wedding, which confuses and upsets him, of course. Xander and Anya's romantic time alone. That's interrupted by various demons as they break in and try to attack them. So they rush over to Giles' place where Xander realises that the cause is Willow and everything she wills is coming true. So the guy that was the big bad in this episode, the Hoffrin, the demon responsible for making Anya a vengeance demon, comes forth and takes Willow through a portal to his demon world to make the same offer. So, he's been, earlier in the episode, Anya has talked about him and what he did, made her a vengeance demon and whatnot, and you can't, once he decides to come for you, and you're his choice, you can't back down, sort of thing. So she's backing it up as he's a real nasty character to work with. So he does turn up, takes Willow through a portal to the demon world to make her the same offer. When the gang goes to look for her, Anya recognises the remains of the portal, and of course she goes through the whole thing and whatnot. Buffy and the rest of the gang go to a crypt where they hope to stop the Hoffern from turning Willow into a demon. While they're going to the crypt, several demons attack, still drawn to Xander because of Willow's spell. But in the meantime, and the bit I did find really funny, the Hoffern is face to face with Willow and got his henchmen around him and whatnot, and Willow politely turns down the Hoffern's offer, and he says, well, fair enough, if you ever change your mind, let me know. And he sends her back, giving her a talisman she can use to summon him. So Willow breaks the spell and tries to make up for her mistakes with cookies. She's baking cookies to try and, I'm sorry, please forgive me, sort of deal. Next day, Buffy finds Riley and manages to convince him that she was only joking about getting married, making fun of his picnic, finding her glancing into a wedding dress store. Critical response for this episode suggests that the episode pokes funs at fans, shipping Spike and Buffy, that is, inventing scenarios and writing fan fiction to allow the two characters normally foes to become romantically involved. So, even in I'm just trying to think now. This was the very, very early days of the internet, whenever Buffy the Vampire Slayer was originally been aired. You had some chat rooms and whatnot. It's not what it is today, of course. But of course you had the fans there, wanting the romantic side for them too. So this was a dig at them. The AV Club call it a well-balanced episode, mixing comedy of more serious reflection on the theme of how there's no easy solution to Willow's problems. Nick Stafford found it funny, particularly Spike's actions. Well, he's always great on these episodes, though she found Buffy's reactions less than believable. That's fair. But it's one of these episodes that's kind of a time filler episode. There's nothing that really happens in here that really adds to the big story of the season. And I think that's the problem that season 4 suffered from, was I wouldn't say complete lack of direction, of where I knew where it wanted to go, but how it was going to get there and follow up the 20 odd episodes worth of content. I just think that initiative, for me, the initiative even back then, just it didn't pad anything out enough, and it wasn't a big enough story to actually fill the season. So you've got a hell of a lot of episodes in here that are just space fillers to fill the time of the episodes outside of that main story arc. But having said that, there is quite a few good episodes in this season, and I believe the next one is probably one of the let me just check what the actual next episode is in the series. I want to say it's Hush, if memory serves. Let me just look it up here. Oh gosh, that's not even the right page I'm on. Yeah, Hush is the next episode in Buffy. So we will be covering that next Monday on the show. So if you're interested in all things horror, maybe not so much Buffy or Angel, although we are going to be doing horror movies on the podcast every Friday. So if you're into that, get subscribed and follow the show and rate and review it if you wouldn't mind. I would really appreciate it. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Whatever you're doing, stay safe, and I'll talk to you in the next one. This has been a production of Coins Age Media. Thank you so much for listening.